ॐ दक्षिणस्य समारम्भा शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमा अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ता स्मर्या गुरुपरम्परा श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। परिज्ञानाश्रम श्रीगुरुशङ्कर परिज्ञानाश्रम शङ्कर सद्गुरु केशववामन कृष्णपाण्डुरङ्ग आनन्द परिज्ञान गुरु सद्यो जात शङ्कर सद्गुरु गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। शान्ति मंत्र। ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैः स्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। So when the Shishya Shaunaka asked the Guru, after having approached the Guru in a proper, appropriate manner, vidhivat upasannaha, means in an appropriate manner as expected by the Shastra, he approached the Guru and asked for this knowledge by this pariprashna, this appropriate question. Kasminnu vijñate, हे भगवन कस्मिन्नु विज्ञाते सर्वमिदं विज्ञातं भवति. What is that one thing by knowing which everything else can be known? I told you the meaning of this question is that what is the content of everything that we see here, knowing which everything is known. It does not mean that we can know only one thing by which the whole thing that is there in the universe can be known. No. Aparavidya or material sciences are different and each science has to be studied differently. By knowing one material science or aparavidya, we cannot know the other one. That is why the knowledge of this one thing, knowing which everything else is as well as known, is called as paravidya, because that talks about the moola karanam of whatever is there here. What is that basic stuff? What is the adhishtanam? What is the very content by knowing which we know everything? And I gave you in the last session, I think I dealt with it quite in detail, giving you the example of gold and ornaments. Like, what is that one thing by knowing which I know all the gold ornaments? Gold. Similarly, our scriptures say that there is only one thing, Ekam Advitiyam Brahma Atma, which is the very content of this entire universe. And by knowing that one content, one thing, it is as though you're knowing everything else. Because there is nothing other than this Brahman or Mula Karanam. All that we see in the form of names and forms in the Jagat is nothing but the Karyam. Karyam is names and forms. Karanam is the very content. Just like one content gold can be changed or can be made into many, many names and forms, similarly, one Mula Karanam Brahma manifests itself into millions and millions of forms in this universe. Therefore, here, Shaunaka has heard that there is something called as that Mula Karanam, by knowing which everything else is known, just like Arjuna asked his questions in Bhagavad Gita. Now, what does the Guru answer? Instead of saying immediately, Brahman is the Mula Karanam, then the Upanishad will be over. Oh, you want to know what is that one thing by knowing which everything is known? Okay, your question is that Brahman is that Mula Karanam, by knowing which everything else will be known. And that will invite another question from Shaunaka. What should I do to know that Brahman? Instead of that, without letting Shaunaka ask another question, the Guru is himself giving a complete answer in the entire Upanishad, and in the fifth mantra, which we started last time, he said that instead of saying directly Brahman is the Karanam, he said there are two types of knowledges, two Vidyas. One is what is called as the Apara Vidya, which is called as the Karya Jnanam, or which is called as the Prapancha Jnanam, or that which is called as the Karana, that which is called as the Karya Namarupa Jnanam, the Namarupas, and for material sciences, material knowledge. And there are plenty of them. But there is only one knowledge called as Paravidya, which gives you or takes you to that question which you asked. So he said, Tatra apara rigvedo yajurveda samavedo atharva vedaha shiksha kalpo vyakaranam niruktam chando jyotishamiti. All these I explained in detail, so I won't go on explaining it again. So for examples of aparavidya, he is giving what is called as the Veda Purva. The words of the Veda Purva, are the Aparavidya he is talking about. So four Vedas, they're Veda Purva because they are going to lead to material sciences. It is the Veda Purva which takes a person to Punya, Papa, accrual, various types of Yaga Yajnas, various types of sciences, material sciences, various types of Vidyas, which Narada talked about. I told you he went to Sanat Kumara in what is called as Bhuma Vidya in Chandogya Upanishad. And he reeled off 64 types of Vidya in which he is a Parangata. What are those 64 types of Vidyas? They were all, or they're all, what Veda Purva talks about. So here the Veda Purva part of Vedas, and also the six Angas or the six auxiliary sciences which are necessary to understand the Veda Purva or the Vedas, these 10 are basically given as the Apara Vidya. Is it all? No. Any other material science can be taken as Apara Vidya. Now, in our time, there are so many. It may be natural sciences, it may be applied sciences, it may be genetic sciences, it may be biosciences, it may be informatics, it may be, hospitality sciences, it may be medical science, it may be in hundreds of branches of medical science, hundreds of branches of engineering science, hundreds of branches of so many things that we are having here. All of them, the material sciences are called as aparavidyas. This is the Vedic literature and Upanishad. Therefore, it is restricting itself to what is Aparavidya in the Vedas itself. So it gives the Veda Purva words of the four Vedas along with the six Angas. You can take Puranas, Itihasas, whatever comes, Kavya, all these things are nothing but Aparavidyas. The last line he says, Atha, and then what is this Atha? And Parayaya tad aksharam adhigamyate. Paravidya is that which takes you to this question that you asked. Para, that is Paravidya, Yaya, okay, knowing which, Tad aksharam adhigamyate. That aksharam Brahma is known. So now you have one more information here. In Mundaka Upanishad, Brahman is called as Aksharam, Akshara, that for which there is no Kshara, that for which there is no perishment, so imperishable. That which is imperishable, we have already dealt with it. Brahman is imperishable. Aksharam, this is called as the Aksharam Adhigamyate. So, what is Paravidya? It is Moola Karana Vidya, by which that knowledge, which is the Sarva Vidya Pratishtha, which we saw in the second verse, first verse, Sarva Vidya Pratishtha Atharvaya Jeshta Putraya Praha, we saw. Who? Brahma. Okay, Brahma Devanam Pratamas Sambhavuvah Vishwasya Karta Bhuvanasya Bhokta Saha. What did he do? Paravidyam, this Vidyam, Sarva Vidya Pratishtam, that which is the very adhishtanam of all the other material sciences, Jeshta Putraya, Atharvaya, Praha. That is what he says now here. What does he say? This Angiras, the Guru, tells Shaunaka. And after knowing what these Aparavidyas are, Paravidya is that which takes you to this Aksharam Adhigamyate. It is that Vidya, the words of the Vedanta, by which a thought which is Aham Brahmasmi, thought which is born in your intellect, that destroys all your avidya, that is what is called as the Paravidya. And why is this Paravidya, Brahma Vidya called as Sarva Vidya Pratishtha? So, for all the Vidyas, it is a Pratishtha. Why? I explained to you the differences between Aparavidya and Paravidya in the very second session itself. So, what does he say here? Paravidya is that which takes you to the understanding of the Moola Karanam Aksharam Brahma. So Brahma is known by the name Aksharam here. Now let's go to the sixth verse, sixth mantra, where this is the most important mantra of the entire Upanishad. We have such mantras in other Upanishads also. In Kathopanishad also, we saw a very, very similar mantra like this in Kathopanishad also. Now in the sixth mantra, which is the central teaching of the entire Upanishad, the Guru tells or answers the question of the Shishya in saying what this Aksharam is. Because he asked, what is it? By knowing which, everything else is as good as known. Therefore, what did he say? It is the Paravidya which takes you to this Moola Karanam, Aksharam Brahma. So, what is this Aksharam now? That is what you have to know, correct? So, now the Guru is answering what is that Aksharam. In Vedanta, there are two ways of describing this Brahman. One is called as the Swarupa Lakshanam of Brahman. What is the meaning of Swarupa Lakshanam? That which is the inherent characteristic of a particular thing is called as Swarupam. That which does not change. The inherent character, something which is inherent, which does not change, Aksharam, the Swarupam of that or that unchangeable thing whose changeless nature is being talked about, what is the very Swarupa of this, what is the very inherent nature of this Aksharam Brahma, that is what is going to be talked about. That is called as the Swarupa Lakshana. Then there is another way in which the same Brahman or Aksharam is explained, not only here, but in all other Upanishads. The Swarupam or the Swarupa Lakshanam of Brahman is explained in different ways in different Upanishads so that the listener can understand. In Taittiriya Upanishad, it is said Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. So the Swarupam of Brahman there is explained as that which is of the nature of existence, consciousness, and Purnatvam, which does not change. What is Swarupa? That which does not change. Like Aushnyam or heat is the Swarupam of fire. So Aushnyam does not become less or more in fire wherever it is. That is its Swarupam. Similarly, this Aksharam Brahma, what is its Swarupam? That is called as the Swarupa Lakshanam of Brahma, which is given in the sixth verse or sixth mantra. Then there is another way of explaining Brahman. What is called as the Tathastha Lakshanam, which also I have described in our Viveka Chudamani. Swarupa Lakshanam, Tathastha Lakshanam. What is Tathastha Lakshanam? Brahman or Atma explained from the point of view of the Jagat. That is called as Tathastha Lakshanam. With reference to Jagat, what is it? With reference to that entire manifest universe that we are seeing, the Jagat, what is Brahman? So, explaining that Brahman with the context of the experience Jagat outside is called as Tathastha Lakshanam. Whereas explaining this Aksharam Brahman from the point of its own Swarupa, its own inherent characters, its own inherent Swarupam, that is what is called as a Swarupa Lakshana. And in this first Khanda of the first Mundaka, both of them are explained by the Rishi Angiras or the Guru Angiras. So in the sixth verse, in the sixth mantra, we'll find that the Swarupa Lakshanam of Brahman or Aksharam is mentioned. So what is Brahman called as? Brahman is called as Atma, it's called as Satyam, it's called as Jnanam, it is called as Purnam, okay? So it is called as Aksharam. So many names are given to that. Different names are given to that. All of them mean the same. Here in this Upanishad, Brahman is not called as Brahman. Some places it is called, but then mostly the word used for Brahman, that Mula Karanam of entire Jagat is Akshara. So let me read this sixth verse. It says, Yattad adreshyam agrahyam agotram avarnam अचक्षुश्रोत्रं तदपाणिपादं नित्यं विभुं सर्वगतं सुसूक्ष्मं तद् अव्ययं यद्भूतयोनिं परिपश्यन्ति धीराः. Swarupa Lakshanam, that is the important lakshanas, the inherent nature of this Atma. If you recollect what Bhagavan Krishna talked about in the 12th verse to the 25th verse of the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, all these things, most of the things are here. In the sense, most of the things that are here are talked about by Lord Krishna there in the second chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Now let us say, what is that? He says, Yat Tat. Yat Tat means that which, that Brahman which you asked for, that Paravidya which leads you to this Aksharam Brahma. This Aksharam Brahma or Aksharam, that which is called as Aksharam or Brahman, is what? Adreshyam. It is something which is not an object of your eyes. You cannot see it. Adreshyam. It means it is not an object of your jnanendriyas. You can't see it, you can't hear it, you can't smell it, you can't touch it, you can't taste it. Therefore, adreshyam means it is not an object of your jnanendriyas, sense organs of perception. It's not an object of that. Agrahyam, it is not an object of your karmendriyas also. It's not something you can grasp and say this is Brahman or Aksharam. So what is the meaning of this? It is Indriya Agocharam. Jnanendriya Karmendriya Agocharam. that which is not an object of perception of the Jnanendriyas also, or not an object of Karmendriyas also. That means this Aksharam or Brahman is not an object. Then if it is not seen, if it is not heard, if it's not graspable, if it is not an object, then is it shunya? Is it zero? Is it not there? No, it is there. Why is it there? It is the very subject itself. It is that very subject consciousness itself. I told you in the last Upanishad also that in our last Shankaracharya's, Adi Shankaracharya's Advaita Stotras also in Hastamalakiyam, etc. It is Shrotrasya Shrotram. It is the consciousness behind the ear. It is the consciousness behind the eye. It is the very subject itself. It is not an object of perception because it is the very perceiver subject itself. I cannot see myself anywhere. Why? Am I not there then? I don't see myself. I don't see myself anywhere. I'm not available for any sense organs. Does it mean that I'm not there? I can see myself in the mirror because I'm there as this body is there as a solid, sthula sharira, but otherwise. Take my own Sukshma Sharira, your own Sukshma Sharira. Is it available for reflection in the mirror? No. Is it available for catching it? No. Is it available in front of you as an object? No. But still, you are aware of it because you are that very perceiver. So, what is this Aksharam, Brahma, or Atma? It is not an object of perception, but does not mean that it is not there. It is the very subject itself. That subject which says aham, aham, aham iti, aham janami, aham pashyami. I see, I listen, I touch, I grasp, I walk. What is that I? That I is this Aksharam Brahma. Therefore, it is not an object of sense organs. Just like the sky or Akasha, space. The space is not an object of sense organs, but it is still understood that it is available because it makes availability of the space for other things to exist. Similarly, aham atma, aham aksharam brahma, though I am not available for objectification by any sense organ, the very fact that I'm aware of, that I am awareness is this Atma or Aksharam. See how the Upanishad starts in the sixth verse itself. It starts talking about the Swarupa Lakshanam, which we have seen in Dakshinamurti Stotram also recently. We have seen that. So, Adresham, Agrahyam, Agotram, which does not have a lineage. That means it is not born. Najayate mriyate va kadachit. We saw that in Katopanishad, we saw that in Bhagavad Gita. Agotram, for which there is no gotra. We are all having gotras because we have a lineage. We are born somewhere, somebody, from some rishi, our entire lineage came. So people who introduce themselves through the what is called as the pravara, they start from which rishi it has started and how last 2, 3, 4 generations names they will take. So gotra means what? The one who is born in a certain lineage. Agotram means this aksharam brahma. Aksharam is not born. Na jayate, unborn. If something is unborn, then what? It does not die also. Na jayate mriyate. That means what? It is nityam. It is not something which is limited by time. Agotram. There is no being born and die. It's only the sthula sharira which is born and which dies. So agotram. Agotram means that which is not born, that which does not undergo any changes, that which does not undergo any vikaras like janma and mrityu. That means it is all the time there, nirantaram, imperishable, and that which is nityam. So agotram. Next word, avarnam. Varna has got three meanings. Varnashrama dharma varna, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, Varna, groups. Varna means a group. Varna means a color. Varna, Shveta Varna, Rakta Varna. Varna also means a color. Varna also means an attribute or a characteristic or a property. A characteristic or a property by which we recognize something. That is also called as Varna. So, Avarna means what? That which does not have any properties. Color is also one of the properties, no doubt about it. It's also one of the properties. So, Varna is also a group, means it has a property like what you said. So, group, it could be Varna means a group, color, properties. Avarnam means this particular Brahman does not have a property. Why it does not have a property? Because it's not an object, it's not matter. What is Atma or Aksharam? It is consciousness principle, it is not matter principle. What has got properties? Matter principle has got properties. A material object has properties by which we can identify it. There are so many vessels kept. I say, bring that big vessel. Big is the property of that vessel. Bring that smallest glass there, property. Can we point to Brahman like that? No, because it's not an object. Whatever is an object or a matter principle has properties or varna. Brahman or Aksharam being a pure consciousness principle, it does not have a matter, iota of matter in it, therefore it is avarnam. Then achakshushrotram tadapani. It is not something which has got avayavas. It does not have eyes. Achakshuhu. Ashrotram, that which does not have a ear. Because that is the consciousness behind this eye and behind this ear. It does not have its own avayavas. It is partless. Niravayava means what? It is not put together and made up of parts. We are all what? Avayavis. We have hands and fingers and feet and this and that and everything. If one avayava goes also, I can survive. Isn't it? We have seen that in many cases. But here it is niravayavi. That means what? Niravayava means what? That which does not have any parts, that which is whole, that which cannot be divided, that which is not put together. That which is not put together, like a car, many parts put together, like our body, many parts put together in an intelligent way is our body, that's all. Isn't it? They are all working together in an intelligent way by Ishvara's laws. That's it. We are put together by Ishvara in a very intelligent way. That's it. But here it is Achakshushrotram tadapani padam. It has no hands, it has no legs, it has no organs of perception. No jnanendriyas, no karmendriyas, no parts. It is partless, indivisible, niravayava. Nityam. Nityam is that which is not limited by time. न जायते म्रियते वा कदाचित् नायं भूत्वा भविता वा न भूयः अजः नित्यः शाश्वतः पुराणः भगवद गीता and Kathopanishad. So he says Nityam, unlimited by time, not limited by time. It is always there. Trikale apitishtati. There is never a time when this aksharam has not been there. The body comes and goes. Creations come and go. Sukshma shariras come and go. Maya Prakriti also sometimes is in an unmanifest form. But Atma, Aksharam is something which is all the time there. So Nityam Vibhum. Though it is not available for objectification, it manifests itself into many names and forms. Vividham bhavati iti vibhuhu. Vividham. Vividha, we see so many things in this universe. So many names and forms, millions of names and forms. Vividham, from where have they come? It is the manifestation of this Aksharam. Vividham bhavati. Vividham rajate. Rajate means what? That which manifests, shines in different forms, manifests in different forms. Vibhum sarvagatam. If it is manifesting in every form, then it should be everywhere. Sarvagatam, unlimited by space. Unlimited. Space itself arises in Atma. Therefore, unlimited by time, unlimited by space. Nityam means what? Limitless by time. Sarvagatam means what? Limitless by space. Nityam, Vibhum, Sarvagatam, Susukshmam. Sukshmam means what? That which is subtle. Susukshmam means what? That which is extremely subtle. Subtlest of anything and everything is Brahman. That is why in Bauddha Mata, they say since it is not available for any kind of objectification, there is nothing called as Atma. They say, the Bauddha philosophy says that there is nothing called as Brahman. One part of Bauddha philosophy. There are four branches or four philosophies in Bauddha philosophy. One of them, they say that there is nothing. It is shunya. Shunya, they say. There is nothing. There is nothing called as Brahman because it is nothing. That's what you people also say. They tell us. They tell the Advaitis that you say that this, not that, not that, not that, not that, not that. And then in various Upanishads it says neti, 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 it's not this, it's not this, it's not that. Then ahrisvam, adhirgam, all that in Katopanishad also we saw. So they say it is shunya, it's not that, it's not so. It is susukshmam means it can be understood by what? It is there, but it is so subtle that it can be understood by drishyate tu agriyaya buddhya sukshmaya sukshmadarshibihi. Where did we see this? We saw this in Kathopanishad. It is so subtle that you require a highly prepared intellect to understand this susukshma aksharam or atma. Then tad avyayam, last line. I'm going word by word. So please follow as I'm reading, just follow it. Tad avyayam. That is avyayam. Avyayam means what? That which does not undergo any vyaya, which does not undergo any, loss. Everything else we see losing, isn't it? Even if we don't do anything and sit in one place, we will age. Our body ages. Vyaya is there. Keep an apple on your table and don't touch it for 3 weeks. Don't do anything, just keep it. It will shrink, it will rot, and it will go away. Correct? It will die. So, like that, Vyaya is there for all the things that are the names and forms or the manifestations of this world. Whereas, what is the Adhishtanam or the Mula Karanam of all that is Vyayam? It is Avyayam, imperishable. That is why in the 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna divided the whole world, everything into Kshara Purusha, Akshara Purusha, and Uttama Purusha. The whole manifest universe, he said, Kshara Purusha, that which, degenerates and falls away. Akshara Purusha, Maya, or the potential Jagat from which the whole manifest Jagat comes and goes back into. And then he said, there is one more thing called Uttama Purusha, which is nothing but this Aksharam, which is the very Adhishtanam of Akshara Purusha and Akshara Purusha Maya also. Their Akshara Purusha Maya is different from this Akshara Purusha. We must understand that. Maybe I should not have brought in that particular thing. You might be getting confused. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna in 15th chapter, there he uses Akshara Purusha for Maya. So let us forget it there. Here, in most of the Upanishad, Aksharam means Brahman, not Maya. Therefore, Tad Avyayam, then Yad Bhuta Yonim. Bhuta Yonim. Bhuta Yonim means what? That which is the cause of all that is there in this Jagat. Jagat Karanam Bhuta Yonim. Yoni means what? Karanam. Womb. What Yoni actually means womb. So when he says Bhuta Yonim, means it is the Karanam of all the bhutas, starting from Panchabhutas to the elementals, Panchabhautika Prapancha, living bhutas, non-living bhutas, living and non-living elements, elementals, everything that is the yoni. Yoni means what? That is the cause from where the whole universe manifests. How does it manifest? This whole universe manifests from this Brahman. How does it manifest from this Brahman? Does Brahman or Aksharam change itself to undergo a manifestation? Does it undergo any change? No, it doesn't undergo any change. Changelessly, it manifests as everything else. So, what does here the Upanishad wants to say? The Upanishad wants to say here that this Aksharam is the material cause of everything that is there in the universe. When any karyam is seen, when any manifestation is seen, when any karyam is seen, any product is seen, there are two causes for that. One is called as the material cause with which that particular thing is made. In Sanskrit, in the Upanishad language, we call it as the Upadana Karanam, the material cause. Then the material by itself cannot convert itself into a product. You need an intelligent principle which converts the material into the final product. Now, wood is the material cause of the table. Now, there should be an intelligent cause who knows how to convert the wood into the wooden table. So, the carpenter is the intelligent cause. Wood is the upadana karanam. Intelligent cause is called as nimitta karanam, the maker. We can say the material and the maker. Material from which the final product is made, the maker who makes the product from the material. So there are two causes for any product. A material cause upadana karanam, the maker cause also called as the nimitta karanam. Nimitta karanam is an intelligent principle, whereas the upadana karanam need not be an intelligent principle. Take any example, gold into ornaments. Gold is the upadana karanam, goldsmith is the nimitta karanam. Pots, clay is the upadana karanam, and the pot maker is the intelligent cause or the nimitta karanam. But now we are saying here, the Upanishad says, there is only one Brahman or Aksharam, which is manifesting itself into the entire universe. Is which kind of a cause is it? For this intelligent world that we are seeing, which is so systematically, intelligently put together, this world is not a random thing which is just lying here and there, very intelligently put together. Then there should be a material cause and there should be a maker or an intelligent cause. So, what is this Aksharam? It is both the material cause and the intelligent cause. Abhinna nimitta upadana karanam. We have seen it in Tattva Bodha also. If you read Tattva Bodha, you see. Brahman is called as Jagat Karanam. As I said some time back, Tatastha Lakshanam of Brahman. In the sixth mantra, we saw the Swarupa Lakshanam of Brahman or Aksharam. Now, the Bhuta Yoni, that word Bhuta Yoni, which we saw in the last line of the sixth mantra, that is going to be explained in the next three verses. So if it is the cause, Bhuta Yoni, cause of this entire Jagat Karanam Brahma. So Aksharam is not only Yattadadresham Agrahyam, okay, Agotram Avarnam, okay, Achakshushotram Tadapanipadam. It's not only that, it is Bhuta Yoni. If it is a Bhuta Yoni, if it is the cause of the entire manifest universe, what kind of a cause is it? It is both the intelligent cause as well as the material cause. It is the Abhinna Nimitta Upadana Karanam of the Jagat. How it is going to come now in the future. And one more word is added by the Upanishads. Vivarta Karanam, without undergoing any change, being as it is, without undergoing change, Brahman becomes the Nimitta Upadana Karanam. Vivarta Nimitta Upadana Karanam. Now you may say, what nonsense is are you talking about? How can there be something which can produce a product without undergoing any change? And how can one thing itself be the karanam or both nimitta upadana karanam? How can it? It looks impossible. That's what you may think, correct? But then remember, we are doing it every day. All of us are doing it every day. In our sleep, when we dream, our dream is produced by us. Correct? We produce our dream. The material in the dream, whatever we see, the dream material matter is projected by me, manifested by me. I am manifesting as the dream, matter. I am the intelligent cause behind the projection of the dream. I am both the material cause and the intelligent cause of the production of dream. At the same time, I don't undergo any change. When I wake up, I am the same. I sleep, I am the same. I don't undergo any change. I am Vivarta. I project a dream full of matter and I intelligently transact in the world also. Intelligently transact in the Swapna Jagat also, in the Swapna Prapancha also. So if I am capable, if all of us are capable of being the Vivarta Nimitta Upadana Karanam of our own dreams, why not Brahman? Because as we project a dream, Brahman with the help of Maya is projecting the entire universe. So, Brahman with Maya is called as the very Upadanam, Upadana Karanam, or the material cause of this entire universe. And Brahman, Jnana Swarupi Brahman is the very intelligent cause. And what undergoes change is Maya and not Brahman. Therefore, Brahman is taken as Aksharam, is taken as Abhinna Vivarta Nimitta Upadana Karanam of this entire Jagat. And for this, three examples are given in the seventh mantra. In the seventh mantra, we have three examples that they are given to show that there can be a cause which can manifest itself without undergoing any change into something else. I can be both the material cause and the intelligent cause of whatever manifests. So let us see these three examples where Aksharam as the very Upadanam or material cause of this entire universe is told here. Here the Upanishad is not talking about Maya, whereas Bhagavad Gita talks about it, Kathopanishad talks about it. What does Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna say? Mama Maya, Swam Mayam Adhikritya, I, take my Maya into control and Sambhavami, I manifest in so many different forms. I manifest. Swa Mayam Adhishtaya, I take hold of control of my power Maya, Brahman's power Maya. He says, I take Maya into my hands and manifests into various forms. That concept of Maya is not brought about in this Upanishad, but here the Upanishad talks about Aksharam as the Abhinna Nimitta Upadana Karanam of this entire universe without undergoing any change. So the seventh mantra we'll read. Yathornanabhihi srijate grinhate cha yatha prithivyaam oshadhaya sambhavanti यथा सतः पुरुषात् केशलोमानि तथा अक्षरात् संभवति इह विश्वम् अक्षरात् संभवति इह विश्वम् this Vishwam, this entire manifest universe. Aksharat Sambhavati. Aksharat Brahmanaha Sambhavati. From this Aksharam Brahma. Please remember, Aksharam is the name of Brahman used in in Mundaka Upanishad. That's why I am careful to say Aksharam Brahma, because suddenly you're not used to this word Aksharam, you may get confused. Aksharam and Brahma is the same. Aksharam means imperishable. Since Brahman is imperishable, Mundakopanishad uses Aksharam as a Paryaya Pada for Brahman. So, Tatha, that means I'll give you the Upanishad, the Guru says 3 examples. Just like that, Aksharat, from this Aksharam Brahma, Sambhavati idam Vishwam, iha Vishwam. Here, the entire manifest Jagat comes out of this Brahman like the 3 examples which I am going to give. What are these 3 examples that are given? Yatha urnanabhihi srijate grinhate cha. Urnanabhihi. Very common examples the Upanishad is giving, which all of us are familiar with, which we don't have to scratch our heads as to where this example comes. These are our day-to-day examples. Urnanabhi is a spider. Is there any one of us who have not seen the spider? Let us go to the dark corners of our house where there is, dark corners where no disturbance is there. Let us go there and see. Every one of us will find spiders in our houses. Urnanabhi is called as a spider. The spider is the Urnanabhi. What does it do? It weaves a web. Okay? Srijate, grinnate cha. It creates a web. From where does it create a web? Does it have a material which it brings and creates a web? Is it like a bird which goes and picks up all the twigs and leaves and this and that and comes and builds a nest? No. What does Urnanabhi do? From its own stomach, it gets a sticky material and it builds a beautiful nest, a beautiful net. If you have seen the nets of spiders, the way they are weaved, the geometrical patterns that are weaved in this web, it is fantastic to catch, to catch the insects that it can eat. And there should be some light above so that all the insects come there and then it will fall into the web and this one can eat. So who is an Urnanabhi? A spider is both an intelligent cause as well as the material cause of the web that it has weaved. It can create the web anytime and just touch that web. What happens? The spider withdraws the whole web into itself. Isn't it? Have you not seen that? A spider creates a beautiful web, not from any material outside. It has its own material. From itself, it gathers the material and it builds a net. And then when it is danger is sensed, it withdraws its net into itself. So yatha urnanabhihi srijate, creates, grinhate cha, withdraws the net back. And it is what kind of a cause? It is abhinna nimitta upadana karanam of its net. If an urnanabhi spider can produce a net being a Upadana Nimitta Karanam, and withdraw it at will. If I can create a dream and withdraw it at will without undergoing any change, Urnanabi also doesn't undergo any change. Vivarta. The material is itself. The maker is itself. It can withdraw that net anytime. I can produce a dream or project a dream anytime from my own mind. My own mind I project. I don't change. When I wake up, I withdraw the dream. If an Urnanabi and I have the capacity to do this, our own worlds, for an Urnanabi, the net is its world. For me, my dream is also my own world, another world, Swapna Prapancha, which we have already seen in Avastatraya. If Urnanabi can be a abhinna nimitta upadana karanam of its web, why can't Brahman Aksharam be the karanam of this entire universe? Another example. Yatha prithivyam oshadhaya sambhavanti. From the Prithvi, from the earth, oshadhaya sambhavanti. Oshadhaya. They just come. The plants just come. We have seen in summer nothing is there. Let there be one rain. How our own garden, just the grass comes up, so many plants come up, so many saplings come up. And earth is what? It is a non-living thing. But how the living things are coming out, that also is an example. From a non-living earth, from a jada, bhumi or prithvi, earth, what is coming out? Oshadhaya, the plants, living plants are coming out. Second example. What is the third example? Yata sataha purushat kleshalomani. From a living human being, non-living hair and nails are grown. Do I change? I don't change. I don't even know how it is growing. We don't even know. So, how the Kesha Lomani, Kesha means that which is on the head. The hair on the head is called as Kesha. Loma means the hair on the body is called as Loma. Kesha Lomani, the hair grows, the hair on the body grows, the nails grow. From whom? From a living being, like a human being. Dogs, any living being, Kesha Lomani. That's why you have to, all the time you have to cut the nails and you have to, sort of groom yourself, groom your pets. Kesha Lomani. From a living being, non-living things. This is because hair and nails are non-living. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to cut them, isn't it? So, how non-living things by themselves grow. So who am I? I am the nimitta karanam as well as the upadana karanam for my hair and nails. Correct? The Prithvi is the nimitta karanam and the upadana karanam for the growing of living plants. So these three examples are given. All the three examples are our day-to-day examples. So if these three can be seen in day-to-day life to be the upadana karanam, abhinna nimitta upadana karanam of all these things, aksharam tatha aksharat. From this aksharam Brahma, from this aksharam sambhavati, sambhavati manifests what? Iha Vishwam. This entire Vishwam here that we see is nothing but a manifestation. So here what has he talked about? The Upanishad Guru is very particular about saying that in this Vishwa there are living things, there are non-living things also. So how this Brahman manifests itself in the form of living and non-living things in this entire universe, and the three examples that are given to prove day-to-day examples which we see in our lives, which we cannot say, how can Brahman be the Upadana Karanam? You say it is a Dresham, Agrahyam. So many things you talked about in the sixth verse, in the sixth mantra. But then it is the Abhinna Nimitta Upadana Karanam of this entire Jagat. Here, the Upadana Karanam is given more importance in the seventh verse. But now in the eighth verse, what does the Upanishad do? In the eighth verse, this same Brahman or Aksharam is presented as the Nimitta Karanam also. So what does this eighth verse or eighth mantra say? The eighth mantra says that Jnanam or knowledge, which is nothing other than Brahman. Brahman with Maya is called as Ishvara, which is nothing but knowledge, all knowledge. That is why when we say Bhagavan, Bhaga, Samagra Jnanam is one of the Bhagas, isn't it? Samagra Jnanam. Brahman is Jnanam, Jnana Swarupa Brahman. And how does Brahman decide what kind of a universe has to be created? What kind of a Jagat has to be created? Why is the Jagat created? For all the Jivas to exhaust their karmas. The Jivas have to exhaust their karmas. Therefore, Ishvara or Brahman, here again, Brahman with Maya, this particular combination which we call as Ishvara, is taken as the Jagat Karanam, and we say Brahman, but Brahman alone is not. Brahman requires a Shakti, it's Shakti called as Maya, for the manifestation of this Jagat. Now this Brahman Maya, which we call as Ishvara, this Brahman has to, or the Ishvara has to have all that knowledge which can create the appropriate situations, the lokas and the events that are necessary for the jivas that are appearing in this creation to work out their karmas. Therefore, a lot of planning is necessary, isn't it? What is that planning? For us, a limited mind, we have to plan a lot. But for Brahman, Maya is the unlimited mind of Brahman. Maya is the mind of Ishvara. And therefore, what does Ishvara do? What does Brahman do? Brahman, by Jnanam itself, by just visualizing what kind of a previous creation it was, and from that what kind of the continuing the next creation should be, what kind of a manifestation it should be, that is what is seen, that is what is visualized by Brahman or Aksharam. And this particular creation which comes in three stages. It may be, you may find it a little difficult to understand it. Right now, of course, we don't have enough time today. In the next session, I'll tell you. I've already told you what is a creation. Nothing new happens there. Whatever is in an unmanifest form goes into a manifest form. What kind of a manifestation has to happen? That is something which has to be planned, which is the jnanam of Ishvara. Therefore, nothing new is created. But whatever is in the unmanifest form manifests in a different way from the previous creation, and how it should be manifested, and how this Brahman Aksharam, with the help of Maya, how it creates this as an intelligent cause of the universe, is what is going to be told in the eighth verse, which we'll see in the next session. We'll complete the first khanda, eighth and ninth verses, in the next session. ॐ नन्दन्तु साधका सर्वे विनश्यन्तु विदूषकाः अवस्थाशाम्भवी मेस्तु प्रसन्नोऽस्तु गुरुः सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखमाप्नुयात् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ तत्सत्